So good day, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the ServiceDesk Plus Cloud Masterclass 2023 series. We are on season 2 and episode 2. My name is Nikhil. I'm one of the customer success executives of ServiceDesk Plus Cloud, and I'm going to discuss with you here in today's presentation on how you can set up automations for your critical ITSM practices with the help of ServiceDesk Plus Cloud. So before we move to the agenda, I'd like to request all attendees to review us on Gartner. So please navigate to this link, which is available on the screen, and sign in to Gartner Peer Insights with your LinkedIn credentials or with your Gartner account. And please do submit your feedback or your review of ServiceDesk Plus. And once you get a confirmation from Gartner, please forward the email to hello@servicedeskplus.com and you will get a $25 Amazon gift card. Thank you so much. So this brings us to the agenda. So in today's session, we are going to take a look at the various automation capabilities which are available in ServiceDesk Plus. So we start off with discussing about how you can set up service level agreements for your incoming requests or your incoming services, how you can automatically determine the priority using the priority metrics. We are also going to talk about how you can automatically delegate the requests to the relevant stakeholders or to the relevant key person who can handle a particular set of tickets using business rules. And we can also ensure that we delegate the tasks and several notification to the key stakeholders by making use of triggers in ServiceDesk Plus. We are also going to take a look at how you can automatically assign the technicians to your incoming requests, how you can delegate the requests in case your technicians are unavailable during a particular time period. And we're also going to take a look at how an organization can handle changes without having any conflicts and how preventive maintenance can be carried out in any organization as such. And to discuss all of these, we will also be involving a few notification rules and closure rules in each of these scenarios to ensure that the stakeholders as well as the end users or business users are notified of whatever activity is happening within an organization, and to ensure that the complete data is collected before a request is closed out. We are also going to discuss closure rules as well. And the final feature we're going to discuss in today's presentation is about Zia's AI capabilities and how Zia can help you in classifying tickets, predicting tickets, and even assigning tickets to several technicians. All right, so before we get started with each and every single topic in depth, I'd like to initiate a quick poll right now. So please feed in your answers on which of the following automation you have implemented in your organization. It could be business rules, it could be service level agreements, it could be technician auto assign, notifications and closure rules, or it could be custom actions. So I hope the poll has been triggered now. So please feed in your answers. And these answers which you provide us will help us reach back to you and to ensure that you are utilizing most of the features which are available in ServiceDesk Plus through our customer success activities. So I will brief you through our customer success activities towards the end of the session. So I'm going to leave this slide open for a few more seconds to allow the audience to feed in the poll. Thank you so much for all your answers. So we are going to take a look at a prominent organization named Zilker, who specializes in the development of software products and SaaS products. So you are going to hear this name called Zilker quite often in this presentation, because this company is going to help us with a few use cases we are going to discuss today. And Zilker is working in a very diverse environment where half of them are working from home, half the crowd is working from office. It's a proper hybrid work environment. And Zilker is depending on a very legacy and a very simple ticketing tool that usually requires a lot of manual effort to handle their ITSM practices. Because Zilker faced a lot of challenges due to a lot of manual effort and due to improper ticket routing, Zilker decided to improve their IT operations. Now, what were the set of challenges which led to this particular decision of Zilker? Right? So Zilker noticed that there were a lot of tickets which remained unattended when technicians were on leave. And that led to a lot of delays in ticket assignment. And not just with ticket assignment, there was an obvious delay in ticket resolution as well. So despite the fact that there was a lot of manual intervention, the tickets were not routed properly or delegated to the right teams or the right talent. And that led to a disorganized way of working within Zilker. So there was always chaos, and there was always a question of who should work on what set of tasks, right? So this became a huge challenge for Zilker. So Zilker decided to level up the performance of the technicians and their business processes with the help of several automations which are capable in ServiceDesk Plus Cloud. So the first feature they came across, and the very first feature they wanted to implement was to classify the tickets automatically and to set end user expectations by having specific deadlines for each and every single request, right? So Zilker decided to take a look at the trend of tickets coming in, and Zilker decided to automatically set the priority, right? So with that, let me navigate right into the product. So we're going to discuss a few features within ServiceDesk Plus based on Zilker's challenges and experiences. So I've currently logged in as an SD admin in ServiceDesk Plus, and this is the cloud version. So let me navigate to an admin console, a requester portal, and let me try to raise a new request. So let's say this request is for an issue with a printer, right? So as an end user, if I try to create a new incident, this is the incident form which opens up. So I go ahead here, click on template. I type in reporting issue with printer. So this is the name of my template. So as a requester, I see a couple of basic fields. So I fill in, let's say, the impact. So the impact, let's say, is affects department, and the urgency is medium. All right. And I'm going to choose the subcategory as issue. So I'm going to say printer issues on floor number 6. I'm going to define the printer company, the printer model. This is on floor number 6, and I'm going to add a new request. So once a request is added, I just filled in two fields, which is impact and the urgency, right? So I'm navigating to the admin login right now. So as an admin, when I navigate to the request and when I click on the new request, which was just created by the end user, I would see that the urgency is medium, the impact is affects department, and the priority is automatically set as medium, right? So Zilker implemented this particular feature, which determines the priority automatically based on the impact and the urgencies combination. Now, how exactly this can be configured? So when you navigate to setup in ServiceDesk Plus, under customization, you would see help desk as your first option. So you would see impact, urgency, and priority as 3 tabs. So these 3 tabs are extremely straightforward. All you need to do is just click on new impact and add your desired impact levels. And likewise, click on urgency and classify the urgency which you want to have in your organization. You can do the same thing for priority as well. So in my setup, it's critical, high, medium, low, etc. So for in yours, it might be P1, P2, P3, depending on the user's choice. And when you navigate to the next tab, which is the priority matrix, depending on the impact you have configured and depending on the urgency levels you have configured, you can assign the priority values for your impact and urgency combinations, right? So this is how you can fill in the values for your priority matrix. And you also have a toggle right here, which allows requesters and technicians to override the priority matrix. All right, you generally wouldn't want this, but in case you have such kind of a scenario, you can always enable the toggle as well. Right now, since we've identified the priority of a particular issue, you also should ensure that the end user has a specific deadline, right? So I'm back in Ashley's portal, which is my end users portal. So here I see a due by date, which automatically is populated, right? So as soon as the created date is filled in, and as soon as the request is created, the due by date is automatically populated. Now, how exactly is that done, right? And I also see that there is an SLA which is applied over here called medium SLA. Now, how exactly are SLAs configured, right? So when I navigate back to the end use to the admin portal, so when I navigate to setup and automation, we have service level agreements as one of the options. So your level agreements or SLAs can be configured separately for incidents and separately for your service request. For incidents, let's say if you want to configure a new SLA, you can click on new SLA. You can define a name, be it a high SLA or a medium SLA or a low SLA. And SLAs are usually driven based on conditions. So you can have your own conditions defined. For example, if let's say the priority is critical, right? So if you want to have a critical SLA, you can name this as a critical SLA. And if the priority is critical, you can choose when exactly the request should be responded within and when the request should be resolved within, right? So let's say if any critical request is raised, if any request comes in with the priority as critical, you have a 2-hour response time and let's say a 5-hour resolution time, right? And if you feel that this SLA should be met irrespective of your operational hours, holidays, and weekends, you can always enable these 3 options. And if in case you want to enable escalations, right? So what if this particular time frame which you set right here is breached, right? So for your response time, you can enable 1 level of escalation. And for your resolution time, you can enable up to 4 levels of escalation. Now, these escalation can happen either before a specific time frame or after a specific time frame. So you can choose your desired option over here. You can choose, let's say, after 2 hours and 5 minutes, right? And you can choose to say whom exactly this escalation notification should reach. Should it go to the organization role users, or should it be the technicians, be it the ticket owner or any set of technicians whom you wish to notify? Right? So remember, these are escalations or SLA escalation notifications which you'll be triggering. And apart from these escalation notifications, you can also trigger customized notifications at the same time. So if you want to create your own customized notification, and if you want to send it to a specific set of users or technicians or stakeholders, you can always create a new notification from here. Or if you feel you need to route this ticket to another group, or if you want to increase the urgency of the ticket or any other field value, you can always choose the relevant groups and you can pass in the values to be updated. So these are field updates which can be done from this particular section. All right, so let's say the impact is it affects all users, right? So as and when this escalation email gets triggered, you can expect that a field update gets also triggered along with the escalation email. So that's how SLAs can be configured within ServiceDesk Plus for incidents. The same thing can be done for your services as well. So when you navigate to set up automation and service level agreements, you have a drop down here where you can choose your service request as the option, and you can create new SLAs. So once again, you can have the name of your SLA, and you can choose when exactly the ticket should be satisfied within. So when exactly the response should be sent, and when exactly the resolution timing should be defined. So this is something which you configure over here. And apart from this, we also have a feature where you can allow the end users to choose the SLA. For instance, As an end user, let's say if a Zilker employee wants to raise a new access for their Jira account, right? So I'm going to go ahead here and choose business applications as one of my service templates. So once I click on business applications, my category is going to be application. A subcategory, let's say, is going to be enterprise, and the item is going to be Jira. And I'm going to have a simple subject here called Jira access needed. All right. And on the right hand side, if you notice, there is an SLA option over here, right? So it says no SLA is selected. So as an end user, if you want to choose the SLA by yourself from the list of options which are available, you can always do that. So if you want the service to be delivered faster, or if you want it at a relaxed pace, you can always choose the SLA depending on your requirement. And you can always remove the SLA or change the SLA, as and when you're working on the ticket. And you can scroll down and click on add request, and that creates a request in real time. The SLA gets chosen, the due by date gets populated, and the name of the SLA is also printed for the end user, right? So this gives 100% clarity on what is the urgency of the ticket, what is the impact levels, and when exactly the service will be delivered to the end user, right? So these were the first set of features Zilker had come up with to meet their end user expectations. Now, the next set of features are going to be pretty interesting. So we are going to talk about business rules, and we're going to talk about triggers in this particular section. So how do you set up condition-based actions in your organization? So Zilker was facing a couple of challenges when a major incident was being faced within the organization. So people did not know how to react, what exactly is happening, what are the tasks which is supposed to be carried out, etc. So as you might know, a situation as such would involve a lot of panic, right? So Zilker decides to come up with condition-based actions by making use of business rules, which is one of the features which is available in ServiceDesk Plus. Like I said earlier, for service level agreements, business rules also has a drop down here where you can choose between incidents and service requests. All right. And let's say if Zilker is facing a major incident, right? So I'm going to name this as a major incident business rule, right? So whenever the request is created at any time, or be it within operational hours or outside operational hours, that can be chosen depending on your requirement. But a case like major incident, it should be handled at any point of time, right? So I'm going to go with any time right now. So depending on the condition, I can set up a few actions which Services Plus needs me to do, right? So under conditions, so let's say if the priority is, let's say, major incident. So I have a priority called major incident, and I have a priority called critical as well. So if either of these priority requests come into the system, I can choose what exactly needs to be done, right? So I can immediately do a field update, or I can initiate a notification to a couple of stakeholders, or I can also go ahead and create. So this is one such notification which I created for major incident. You can always customize and create your own set of notifications as well, right? And apart from the field update and apart from the notification option, which we have over here under actions, you can also trigger a script which can be run. So depending on multiple user organizations requirements, if a feature is not available out of the box, and if it is feasible through scripting, we can make use of the custom function option to ensure that your requirements are met. So that is one other additional feature which can be initiated or triggered through business rules. And we also have a concept called triggers, which can help you fire furthermore automation stuff, just like how we saw notifications and just like how we saw field updates right here, right? So in a similar case called major incident, let's say if the technicians need to know what are the tasks which needs to be carried out, right? You can create a very simple trigger. You can call it a major incident trigger, And you can choose when exactly this trigger should apply to. Does it apply to requests? Does it apply to tasks? Should it be for approval levels or approvals, etc.? So let's say when this is going to apply for request. So whenever a request is created, and when the request is created at any time, irrespective of the operational hours, the trigger gets enabled. And once again, triggers are condition-based actions, right? So under conditions, I can choose my trigger point. So let's say if the priority is critical. So I'm going to go ahead with the same use case so that you can relate it much more easier. So if the priority is critical and if the priority is major incident, if you want to fire a set of tasks, right? So you can always click on task and you can initiate your own tasks from here. So this is a very simple form, a task form, where you can pass on the name of the task, the description of the task, the title, and then you can have your group or your owner assignments. As simple as that. And once you have your task assignments done, you can ensure that you also send out a notification to the end users or to the stakeholders stating that there is a critical or a major incident which is about to happen within the organization. And not just that, not just within ServiceDesk Plus. If you have a requirement where you would like to be notified via WhatsApp or via Teams, right? You can always make use of our custom function operations, or you can make use of our webhook options to perform such activities where you can receive alerts on your other SaaS tools or even on your mobile devices in other applications as well, right? So these are the set of features Zilker had introduced to handle their ticket routing. So especially when major incidents come in, if you want to route it to, let's say, a major incident resolver team, or if you want to escalate it to, any other stakeholder apart from the default set of stakeholders, you can always make use of business rules and triggers to fire such automation, right? And as and when you face any such incidents, you can always keep a track on the conversations which has been triggered as a part of the system through the conversation tab which is available, right? So as a part of the custom functions, you can also ensure that extra data is being tracked from your business processes along with the default set of details which is being passed by the end user, right? So that's about business rules and triggers for now. Now, how exactly did Zilker handle the ticket routing? So let's say if there is a major incident as such, and let's say if nobody is attending to the ticket, that once again becomes a huge problem, right? Or let's say, as per the very first example, if there is a printer issue where Ashley is raising a simple issue for their department, right? What if nobody sees the request? That's once again a problem because people are going to keep following up on what exactly happened to the request. So Zilker decides to make use of a few algorithms to automatically assign the tickets to the relevant technicians based on their availability. Right? Now, how exactly did Zilker do this? So Zilker enabled the technician auto assign option, which is available in ServiceDesk Plus. And Zilker also ensured that the technician availability is being tracked within ServiceDesk Plus, right? So let's take a quick look at where exactly these features are located. So when you navigate to setup, under automation, you will find technician auto assign as one of the features. So all you need to do is enable the technician auto assign feature. And this is the algorithm I was talking about. So the auto assign works for either incidents or for incidents and service requests. There are a couple of assignment models. It could be a round robin or it could be a load balancing method. We can also make use of Zia, which is our artificial intelligence tool, which can automatically assign the requests based on the prediction. So we are going to discuss about Zia in a couple of minutes from now. But for now, let's go with these algorithm methods, which is round robin and load balancing. And these set of technician auto assignments can happen depending on the technician's availability as well. So you can check if the technician is available either on the created date or on the due date. You also have certain exclusion criteria as well. So if in case you want to exclude a set of technicians, or if you want to exclude requests matching a few conditions, you can make use of these options to ensure that the tickets are not automatically assigned to these set of users alone, and they are being assigned to the rest depending on their availability. Now, how do you track the availability of technicians? So when you navigate to the Home tab, you will find that there is an option called Technician Availability Chart. So through this chart, you can keep a track of who's online, who's offline, who exactly is available during a particular time frame, right? So the ones in red you see right here mean that they are on leave, right? And as and when you navigate to the scheduler, you will also be able to, view a calendar view of the same technician availability chart. So you can either choose a particular technician from this drop down, or you can, mark leave on behalf of either yourself or on behalf of another technician as well. So as and when you mark leave on a specific day, so let's say I want to mark myself uh, on leave for the 30th. So I'm going to go ahead and mark as sick leave on 30th. When I click on save, this tile will turn pink in color, and there would also be a red color option which is enabled. So this is the delegation feature, right? So the delegation feature needs to be enabled from the admin console. So when you navigate to setup and automation, you will find delegation here as one of the options. So this is the global area where you, or the global option where you enable delegation from. And once you do this, when you navigate to the Home tab, and as and when you are marking leave for any technician, you can click on this red icon and you can delegate the upcoming ticket ownership, or you can delegate the upcoming approvals to other users as well, right? So you can either move it to unassigned, you can take no action, or you can go based on the global configuration, or you can also route it to another backup technician. So this is what delegation is all about. And delegation can also be configured from this particular tab right here. So you have delegation for requesters and for technicians. So for requesters, it will be applicable if requesters are approvers. For technicians, they will be expected to work on tickets, and a few technicians might be approvers as well. So in both cases, delegation should be of the best use. Now, not just tickets have auto assignment. We also have an auto assignment for assets, and that was also having a huge chaos in Zilker's environment. So Zilker decided to stay up to date with their asset assignment details. And how exactly did Zilker do this is what we are going to take a look at in the next few minutes. So when you navigate to setup, you will find automation and asset auto assign right next to technician auto assign as one of the features. And all you need to do is enable asset auto assign, and any asset, if it's being discovered under 2 consecutive scans with the same last logged in information, the user will be assigned to that particular device automatically. In case the email information is not present, you can always pass in the AD login name, and that will help you to automatically assign the assets based on the consecutive scans. So you can choose the consecutive scans from a span of 2, 3, or 4, or 5, or 6, or 7 scans. And based on this option which you assign over here, as and when the scan gets performed, be it through the script, or be it through the probe, be it through the network scan, or be it through the domain scan, if the same last logged in user is identified for 2 consecutive scans or the desired number of consecutive scans, yes, it will be automatically assigned. Now, if you want to exclude a few set of assets, be it a few servers or a few critical devices from being assigned automatically, you can always create your exclusion list over here. So you have a wide range of fields for you to choose from, including your additional fields. So you can make use of these exclusion criteria to exclude your devices from being automatically assigned. So that was what Zilker did to automatically enable the asset auto assign feature along with the exclusion criteria. Now, how did Zilker manage their change freeze windows, their change maintenance windows in their organization? So Zilker had a huge challenge where most of their changes were conflicting with some change or the other. So Zilker came up with a process where they wanted to strictly define a change freeze window and a maintenance window to ensure that all their changes are handled on, without any collision. So now let's take a look at one such change which Zilker was working on. So let's say this is a database migration change. So in the planning stage, so Zilker decides to have the release schedule start on, let's say, the December 1st of 2023, and the scheduled end, let's say they are planning to uh, have the scheduled end for the 10th of December 2023, right? So as soon as the technician clicks on apply, there is a freeze window which is populated over here, right? It says there is a holiday season, it's applicable for all changes, and there is a conflict. Now, how exactly did that pop-up appear within ServiceDesk Plus? So when you navigate to setup and when you navigate to automation, you will have conflict detection as one of the options. So this is where you can configure freeze windows and you can configure maintenance windows for your changes. So as soon as you click on freeze window, so let me edit this. So you can define a name for your freeze window. This window can be applicable for the services in your organization, could be applicable for sites, or it could be for all changes. It applies to either the release schedule, downtime schedule, or the change creation. So depending on your use case, you can choose either of these options. Once again, these are condition based. So if you want to go with conditions, you can definitely do that. Or if you want to apply the change freeze window to all changes, no matter what, you can directly click on all changes without any condition and have a strict window populated. So let's say this is from the 1st of November until the 31st of December 2023. That's clearly the holiday season, right? So that's why I think the name also says holiday season right here. So when you navigate to the change module in real time, you also get to keep a track on when exactly is your maintenance period and when exactly is your change freeze period, right? So you have a view for your changes, which is the calendar view. So you have multiple views. One is the list view, then comes the template view, and the third view is the calendar view. So if you navigate to the calendar view, you will have showing all changes and showing freeze and maintenance windows. So if you click on freeze and maintenance windows, and if you navigate further down, so during the month of October, from the first date until December end, you should be able to see that the freeze window has been configured, right? Likewise, you can also go ahead and configure your maintenance windows for your changes. So maintenance could also be applicable for services, sites, or all changes. You can associate your services if in case you have, or it could be for all changes, just like how we did for the freeze windows. You can go with with conditions or without conditions, and then you can have a specific schedule window as well, right? So this is how Zilker came across their change request and ensured that the change management process was handled without any conflict as such, right? Now, how about preventive maintenance tasks? How about regular maintenance within an organization? So Zilker had a lot of periodic maintenance activities, which also needed a few automation in place. So let's take a look at how exactly Zilker automated their maintenance process. So we have a tab specifically called maintenance. So when you navigate to ServiceDesk Plus Cloud as an admin, you can click on the maintenance tab and you can create a maintenance for the desired maintenance activity. For example, if it is a web server maintenance or if it is a printer maintenance for a particular flow, right? You can always create a new one. And okay, let me quickly create a new one to show you how it looks like. So when you click on new maintenance, you get to choose the template, which is the first option. So you get to define which template this particular maintenance should go through. So all the fields from the template would be populated over here. So once you fill in the details for all of these fields, you can then navigate to the schedule. So let's say uh, the requester's name is Colin, subcategory is, let's say, device performance, subject is maintenance. And when I go ahead and click on next, you then have the schedule details. So the maintenance can be either scheduled on a daily basis a weekly basis, monthly, periodic, or a one-time schedule as well, right? And once you've created the maintenance, it looks like this. So you will have the details populated over here. And on the right hand side, you will find a calendar which populates the generated requests versus the requests which are to be scheduled. You also have the schedule details populated over here. And all the requests which were created or generated can be available for you to view from this particular area. And you also have a history which tracks every single request being created along with the date and timestamp, right? So with this, you can also ensure that the maintenance activity gets suspended for a particular time frame as well. So in case if Zilker wants to, to control their maintenance activities for let's say a specific number of weeks, and then if they want to resume it, they can always go ahead, edit that particular maintenance activity, navigate to actions, click on suspend, and then whenever they are ready to resume, they can go ahead and resume it back, right? So these were the set of features Zilker used in order to manage their change management and their maintenance tasks as well, right? Now, it's not just important to have all these automation in place. You should also ensure that the stakeholders are well informed and the ticket owners are well informed of what activity needs to be done, right? And you should also ensure that any organization as such, before they close out a ticket, before a technician or a department or a group closes out a ticket, the entire information is being tracked and saved, and only then the ticket is closed. Now, how did Zilker achieve this particular requirement? So Zilker decided to enable the automatic notifications or the auto notifications, which is available under automation. So this is the feature which is notification rules which Zilker enabled. So we have notification rules for pretty much all the modules in ServiceDesk Plus. So depending on your requirement, you can choose to enable notifications to requesters for your requests, and notifications to technicians for your requests. So for instance, let's say whenever a technician is assigned to a request, or whenever a technician closes a request, you can ensure that there are periodic communications which is being sent out to the end users, with the help of the notification rules options. And not just that, in case there are tasks which are being created for let's say the maintenance activities, or for some a certain set of changes, right? So the task owner should also be notified that there has been a task assigned to them, or the task has been rescheduled, or the task has been closed, etc., right? So this is the area where you can enable all of these notifications. And you also have an option to customize the template for each and every single notification you have within ServiceDesk Plus, right? So remember, through triggers and through business rules, you can configure your own set of customized notifications. So these are out of the box notifications which are available for every single module. So in case you want to alert a few key stakeholders, depending on the type of change you're working on, you can set up customized notifications on your workflow level. Or if you want basic notifications to get triggered whenever a change request is created, whenever it is associated to a problem, or whenever a project is associated to the change. So all of these notifications can be enabled from this particular area. And not just that, we also spoke about closure rules. So for every single module, we also have closure rules. So this ensures that the fields become mandatory before closing out a specific request. Now, let's say if you do not want the ticket to be closed without a proper resolution being fed to the request, you can simply enable the resolution box right here. And in addition to that, if you want to ensure that all the associated tasks and all the associated checklists should be completed before closing out a request, right? So if that's your situation, all you need to do is just enable these three options, scroll all the way down and click on save, right? And you also have an automated ticket closure option. So once you enable the automated closure, any request which is marked as resolved, you can expect the request, the Service Plus Service Plus application to automatically close out the request after a certain number of days. And the number of days can be configured from here. So it can range from up to 1 day until 10 days. So once a technician works on a request and once they resolve a requester's issue, if the request is marked as resolved, if the requester feels that the issue is resolved, they can leave it as it is, or they can ensure that the request is closed, or as an end user, if they feel that the request is not fulfilled yet, and if there is still an issue, they can simply reply back to reopen the request, right? So you can also have such kind of a simple automated closure option in place as well, just like how Zilker had for your organization. Now, the last feature we are going to discuss in today's session or in today's presentation is about Zia and its automation capabilities. Right now, how exactly Zilker configured Zia for their business process, and what exactly is Zia all about, or what actions does Zia have, is what we are going to see in the next few minutes. So Zia can be enabled from this particular area. When you navigate to setup, if you scroll all the way down, you will have Zia. So you need to enable Zia chatbot first, and Zia can be accessed through the web or through the mobile. So we also have a mobile app. So for those who are not aware that there's a mobile app, please click on your profile icon, and that's going to populate links to the App Store and links to your Google Play Store, from where you can download the mobile app as well. Right? So now, since you know that there is a mobile app as well, you can enable the statuses over here so that Zia can be accessed from any of the avenues. And Zia, once it is enabled, it will be available in the footer panel over here. So once you click on Ask Zia, the Zia bot opens up with a few actions. Right? So these are a few preset options which is available as a technician. So if I want to access any of these for quick access, I can do that, or quick actions, I can do that. Or if I just click on these three lines, I get to see the list of actions Zia is capable of. For instance, if I want to create a new request, right, I can enter the subject. So let's say I have a VPN issue. If I click on enter, a request gets created in real time. And if I click on view details, it takes me to the actual request record. Right? So VPN issue is the name I just passed, and the system had created it. So this is how you can make use of all of these actions over here to converse with your end users. So Zia can not just be accessed within ServiceDesk Plus. So Zia has a widget which can be accessed from your website, from your company's website as well. Right? So just go through the instructions which is available in the help card and which is available here. So all you need to do is just copy this particular HTML source code and plug it in your website's HTML source code, and you're all set. Right? You need to, however, train Zia on what sort of actions needs to be done. So you have Zia actions over here. So all actions which you've trained Zia with will be listed in this area. You can also make use of this hyperlink here to, build your Zia actions. So let me show you where that is. So once you navigate to Zia, once you're under Zia chatbot, you have, you remember the area where you enable the chatbot? There is a tiny hyperlink here where you can configure Zia custom actions. So that will open a dedicated page where you can configure your actions. All your actions can be viewed from one consolidated area, which is over here under Zia actions. And if you have too many actions, you can always make use of quick actions to ensure that your technicians are prompted with just a few set of actions, just like how I showed you earlier, to gain quick access or easy access to the frequently asked questions or frequently asked issues. Right? So you can configure this for technicians separately and for requesters separately as well. And the last feature which I want to talk to you about today is about blended conversations. So you can actually train Zia in such a way that you set up a workflow behind the questions which is being posted. And based on a particular keyword selection or based on a particular option selection, you can define what next has to happen. For example, if there is an option called troubleshoot slow computer, right? And if I click on this button, it prompts me with two more options, which ask me if it is a Windows or a Mac. So if I say it is Windows, it's going to populate a list of solutions specifically for Windows. Or if it is for Mac, it's going to populate a set of steps for Mac. And once I do this, it's going to ask me if the recommended solution satisfied me. So if I say yes, it's going to prompt me with a success message. Or if I say no, it's going to populate with a failure message. All right. So let's take a look at how exactly it looks like in real time. So this is the option I was talking about. So in Zia, you can configure blended conversations. You can have different action cards like this. And once you click on troubleshoot slow computer, for example, it prompts you, with another question where you get to choose if it is a Windows or a Mac. So let's say I choose Mac. So if I click on Mac, I get to view a few options where I can try by myself based on the options which Zia had suggested me. And if the recommended solution did resolve my issue, I'm going to say yes or no, depending on my feedback. And if it is a yes, the success block gets triggered, and you can see that the same content gets populated over here, right? So that's how you can come up with a lot of creativity when it comes to implementing such AI chatbots within your organization, just like how Zilker did as well. And not just this, we also have an artificial intelligence window over here where you can expect Zia to automatically classify the category, the subcategory, item, and it can also categorize the priority, technician, and the template depending on your historic requests. So Zia needs a minimum of 100 requests to understand the pattern in which the tickets were raised under, and depending on the prediction rate, you can choose to apply the prediction even. So what does that mean? Automatically, as in when a few set of requests are created, Zia automatically classifies it under a particular category, subcategory, and item, and Zia automatically determines the priority and enables the priority as well, right? So let me see if I can show you a quick example. So when you navigate to, let's say, a request over here, and when you click on technician, if you click on the drop down, you see that Zia suggests a few technicians depending on historic requests, right? So this is exactly what I was talking about. So Zia, if you enable the prediction, you can, if you click on apply prediction, Zia will automatically assign the technician as well for such requests, right? So with that, we've come to a very end of today's masterclass. So I'm going to give you a quick recap on the features we saw today. So first of all, we saw how Zilker had classified their requests depending on the priority and how did they set deadlines with the help of SLAs for their incidents and SLAs for their service requests. We also saw how exactly certain actions could be triggered based on various conditions through business rules and through triggers. We also took a look at how Zilker had enabled the technician auto assignment based on the technician's availability. And we also spoke about the delegation feature, which is nothing but the technician backup. And then we saw how exactly Zilker configured the asset auto assignment feature as well, including the asset exclusion part. And we also spoke about the change freeze windows and maintenance windows. And we spoke about how exactly Zilker, scheduled their maintenance tasks periodically to have a systematic maintenance process within the organization. And we also discussed how exactly Zilker communicated during each and every single critical point or crucial point during the entire set of use cases we were discussing, in by either through business rules, by sending custom notifications, or through the out-of-the-box notifications. And we also saw how exactly Zilker had enabled closure rules to ensure all the requirements or all the mandatory fields have values within them. And last but not the least, we also saw how Zia was leveraged within the organization to ensure that there was maximum utilization and to ensure that there was 100% communication to the end users as well. So I'd like to thank everyone who attended today, and please make sure that your colleagues are also aware that there are such webinars which are happening. Please pass on the recording as soon as you receive to your colleagues to ensure that they are also trained with ServiceDesk Plus. And these set of programs are specifically designed to ensure that our customers make the best use of the tool. So please do reach out to us in case you need any assistance, and we would love to help you. Thank you so much, everyone. You have a great day ahead. Bye bye.